Sanbonani, and welcome to Sangoma Society, where we demystify the astral and the ancestral. Mina uMakhosi or Nomabutho, and I am here today to talk about this incredible full moon in Aquarius coming up on the 9th of August 2025. Right, the day after the peak of the Lionsgate on the 8th of August, and days preceding the Mars, Saturn, and Neptune opposition in Libra, and during this Chiron retrograde in Aries. Just an incredible new way of seeing oneself, one's vision for the world, purpose, all of it, and happening under a full moon. Marcus. We have for some time been encouraging you to be using this time. We've been encouraging you to be using this time to look inward, to sit with yourself, to interrogate your concept of purpose, and to really be going there with everything that you're doing, right? Internally, because where we are right now, we have this incredible opportunity to align with a higher purpose in a way that we haven't had for like millennia. We have Pluto in Aquarius, we have Uranus in Gemini, we have Neptune in Aries, all of these revolutionary transits, all currently in motion and all in support of vision, all in support of something bigger. And right now, a full moon is typically a time when we let things go. And I think if anything is to be let go with this full moon in Aquarius, it is the idea that we had of who we are, what we're here to do, and what this world really is. Because what it is that we're about to see things in a way that we haven't seen them before. And we are in the middle of the retrograde season, right? We have been having that conversation. And so as the months progress in the second half of the year, that falling away of misconception of self, of society, of where we are in society is all in motion. It is all concurrent. And yo, way, this is the full moon that brings it all into 50-50 sort of 2020 vision, right? Where we're seeing it now and we're going to experience those triggers that alert us to the misconception that we held on to and tip us over into the reconsiderations that we need to make with the ongoing retrogrades right now. And when we come out of this full moon and come onto the other side of it and have those oppositions, that is going to be um, that clarifying moment of time to make decisions. And Mars being in Libra when that happens, we're going to have a really, really measured approach to that. And I'm happy for you because that's my natal placement. And I really like the way in which Mars, um, although in its in its fall in Libra. It's not a happy place for Mars, but Mars does require the temperament that Libra brings to it just to slow down enough to make your considerations adequately, so that when the time comes to take action in September, ngohlobo, with the African New Year, at the end of September, that when that energy comes at, at the start of Libra season, that you're just, in a place of clarity, and you know that you've weighed up all the possibilities. You're not just in a knee jerk reaction. That's what this full moon is here to support. And we're going to get into the nitty gritty details of it now. Yo! Yo! Makhosi. Makhosi, Makhosi. Makhosi. Okay. So I'd like to start with looking at this full moon in Aquarius and the transits that support it. Um, Something we haven't discussed is Chiron going into retrograde just now at the end of July. Yo, of course. Yo, boy. So Chiron is not a planet as such, not a star really, but a comet, I believe. And with Chiron being in retrograde, let's start with what Chiron rules and where Chiron is currently situated and what the retrograde means, right? So, Chiron is this asteroid moving through our galaxy, and it rules the realm of our wounds. We tend to call Chiron the wounded healer. Um, what we tend to look at is what is our wounding in this life, the wounds we carry into this life karmically, and the way that they're going to manifest in this life and their purpose for our self realization in this life. So, for instance, right now, Chiron is in Aries. So, the wounds of war. Aries is the god of war. So we're seeing the wounds of war. We're seeing the wounds of our action and inaction. And collectively, as Chiron goes into retrograde in Aries, what it gives us an opportunity to do is reflect on the cost of that for us as society, um, and to take action about it, not to be um, reclined to it, or like sinikelele nje, resigned, not to be resigned to it. Yo, my cause, that these wounds of war, yo, my cause, that we carry as individual souls connected by our choice to manifest on this planet at this particular time, within us there is a collective desire to transmute this wound of war, not to just let it perpetuate itself. So, someone who is born with the natal placement of Aries and Chiron, maybe they experience um, like real violence, or the results of not thought out action, because that's what Aries is. Aries is just go, go, go without stopping to think of the consequence, right? So a person with that natal placement might experience that, but also which house that is in would determine where in their life they might experience that. Say they have Chiron in Aries in the fourth house, they might experience a childhood that that is plagued with violence, with abuse, and that would then shape how they their inner wounding shows up in the world, and the transmuting of that would then become part of their human evolution, their self-realization. So for instance, I'll speak a little bit about my natal placement of Chiron. I have Chiron and Gemini in the 12th house. So although my wounds are not clearly visible, them being in Gemini being ruled by Mercury, speaking about my wounds, even though they are not clearly visible to the world at all times, is something that is part and parcel of my purpose. So going into that shadow and speaking on it, because then Gemini is also ruling my first house. So that again becomes my first mission in the world, to speak on this thing. Um, do you follow me? So when you look at your chart, you can take those considerations into what it is that your wounding is here to teach you. I read something very beautiful by a writer named Shelley this morning, and she wrote, I think, on her Substack about difficulty and how difficulty is part and parcel of the purpose of life, that it is meant to be difficult, that in the difficulty is the becoming. And when we look at Chiron, we look at that difficulty, that challenge, that thing that is not easy, that needs to be overcome. And within that is our becoming. So, looking at Chiron, which is retrograde in Aries until January 2026, take that into consideration. And now, remembering that also in Aries at this time is um, your Neptune, your dreamer, and your Saturn, your discipline, your work. So, all these are retrograde in Aries. It is time to rethink what is hard about making your dreams a reality, right? And remember that Mercury is also retrograde. And I think that being the ruler of Neptune, there's a little bit of consideration, or that playing its part with Neptune not being its ruler, pardon me. But there is some consideration about the stories we have told ourselves about why it is so difficult for us to accomplish the dreams that we have in this life. Our dreams are subject to time and place. That is what the reality of being manifest in this realm is. Earth is subject to time and place. Astrology itself takes into consideration the time and place of Earth in the multiverse at large. So when you bring that down to a personal level, remember that there is a magic of practical action that can only exist here on earth. The value of our dreams is not the frequency of dreaming, but the expediency by which we bring them to pass in our waking lives. That is why, again, if you draw the parallels into the ancestral from these philosophies, you cannot say that because you dreamt something in the astral, now your ancestors have brought it to pass. You initiated in your dreams. It's not possible because we live in a material world. Yes, it's very possible to be manipulated in the astral, but remember that that manipulation is coming from the material world. When you're getting a message and a vision that is being shown to you about something you need to bring to pass in the material world, it is not the same as somebody who is sitting somewhere doing things to manipulate your astral experience, right? Don't conflate these two things and say they are one and the same, especially not now, especially not now. So now we are going to see Mars move into Libra out of this beautiful practical placement in Virgo um, on August the 6th, which I believe will be Wednesday. So try to do all the things that you need to do, your paperwork, the stuff that we've been talking about, your admin. Try to push as much as you can before Wednesday, while the support from Mars in Libra is still on our side before things start getting really sluggish with Mars in Libra. Sorry, while the support of Mars in Virgo is still on our side for that admin work. Yo, remember we said your paperwork, your registrations, identity documents, passports, all that mundane admin stuff. You just want to make sure that you're up to date, especially before we get into Virgo season. It's not looking great. And if you're American, it's really not looking great for you guys. So make sure that you have things in order before that time, right? And if you've got the opportunity, the time, and whatever resources are required, make the most of that this week before you get to Wednesday, right? That's because Mars is going to be moving into Libra on August the 6th. We don't like that. We don't like that. It's not. Um, it's not going to be easy to take as much initiative. It's going to feel a lot slower, right? Things are going to slow down a little bit. It's going to click back a notch, which can be really nice. Um, if everything's been feeling like it's happening all at once, right? Now you're going to have an opportunity to really weigh up your options, to really look at things, and it's going to give you that calm perspective to slow things all the way down. So Mars is ruled natally by Aries, which is the opposite sign of Libra. And we know when there is opposition, what happens is tension. So it's not going to feel like easy decisions to make, but they are going to be somewhat unavoidable decisions to make. And we're going to be seeing them specifically when we see those oppositions that are going to be at length in the retrograde reading last month. That opposition on the 8th, which is Saturn retrograde Aries opposing Mars, um, station direct in Libra on August the 8th. So that's on Friday. Um, that question about, like, are you really doing everything that you could be doing to make your dreams come to pass? It's going to it's going to be there, and there's going to be decisions and action required from you. And then on the day of the full moon on August the 9th, we're going to have Mars in Libra in the first degree of Libra opposite Neptune retrograde in the first degree of Aries. um, that is a very revolutionary, like, transit. And again, it is action. It is happening on coinciding with the full moon in Aquarius. So that Aquarian energy is going to carry us as well here. I'm just going to give this big truck or whatever it is an opportunity to pass. There you go. There you go. Okay. So um, it's a really revolutionary transit, right? And happening peak of the Lionsgate on the 8th of August. So, like these days, the 8th and 9th of August 2025, what incredible opportunity we have here to realign with the vision that we hold for ourselves and to really shed the story that we might be carrying of why things are not possible. And I'll tell you why. So, full moon in Aquarius is a day where the tension is carried by the sun being in Leo, the moon being in Aquarius. You know, Aquarius is this altruistic, outward looking air sign. Leo is this main character of the zodiac, right? Looking at myself in the mirror. And now, when I am looking at myself in the mirror and asking myself, what do I bring to this world? Under 8 8, sign of a number of powerful manifestation, material manifestation in the world, with the Lion's Gate happening at that moment in time. So you have the star Sirius A aligned with Orion's belt, aligned with the earth, and this portal of opportunity. And this is according to the African creation story as preserved for millennia by the Dogon people of West Africa. This is us in alignment with our home star, where humanity originated from before finding Earth and manifesting here, for the opportunity of quickly transitioning through our karma and really being able to tap into parallels and multiverses at a pace that other places in the universe cannot bring, right? That moment, this coming Friday, stands at the same time as Saturn asks us, are you really doing enough to bring your dreams to pass? And Neptune follows the next day with the full moon and says, these are your dreams. Are they your dreams? Or might there be something that you're ready to let go of because you hadn't seen the vision that this Aquarian perspective can bring? So remain open to the possibility that is in the ether in these days to come. The next 7 days are going to be incredible. I am so happy for us. And again, remember that it is the month of August for us here in Southern Africa. This is a time when we observe ourselves inside our homes. We do not go out to the mountains and the rivers. We give the earth her time to reconstruct herself, to reconstitute her faculties ahead of her re-emergence, ehlobo, with the African New Year and spring. So use the time for introspection, use the time to be with yourself, use the time to interrogate your hopes, your dreams, your desires for yourself, and to let go of the things that no longer fit the vision that you have for your life. That is what this beautiful full moon in Aquarius is holding for us. That has been our reading for this moon, and I hope that it has brought you what you've needed. We invite you to join us in Pivoting into Purpose, where you will have full access to the full moon ritual, Clearing into Consciousness, which we will be focused on this week, and step into your highest purpose under the guidance of your ancestors. Mina nginguMakhosi uNomabutho Emsamo. I am Honey Makwakwa to my parents. I'm Honey Tell a Story on all social media networks, and this is Sangoma Society, where we demystify the astral and the ancestral. For all of our resources and courses, consultations, and products, please visit sangomasociety.co.za. And if you're on our mailing list and you have any questions, feel free to pop me a reply to any of the mails that you've received this week, and I'll be sure to make time to answer them. Makos. Yo. Ee. Oi.